Welcome back to another episode of College Hockey Talk. Today, our guest is Arizona State rising junior forward from Edmonton, Alberta, P.J Marrocco. Thanks for coming on the podcast, P.J., and how's it going? And my first question is, how's quarantine been going, and what are you doing to prepare yourself for this uncertain season?
Actually, I have two kind of different quarantines, I guess. My first quarantine in Edmonton in early March, and it went well. Actually, Edmonton, with the low number of cases, we were able to kind of open up all the hockey rinks and training facilities. So I was kind of back to normal life in about 2 weeks, which was really nice. And now I traveled back to Arizona last week. Now I'm just going through my 2 weeks of quarantine here with my roommates and lots of movies and trying to stay in the best shape as I can.
And has it been weird to prepare for this season compared to other seasons? And what have you've been doing to try to prepare?
Yeah, I think it's definitely been weird. I think just it's always on your mind if you're actually going to start the season on time or if it's postponed. So I think the biggest thing for me is just knowing that, just enjoying what I do every day, whether it's working out or going to the rink. It's all about just enjoying who you're around, and I think also I mean, when you're stuck in quarantine too, I think it's an extra motivator to get back and be in better shape than I was when I left. So I think just those on mind, I think it's helped me keep focused, I'd say. And yeah, no, I try to do as much as I can, whether it's swimming in the back or going for a run and doing whatever I can.
And the one question I want to ask you about this season is, what do you think is the biggest thing you need to improve on for this upcoming year?
Um, I think for me, just as a smaller player, I think it's more just protecting the puck. I mean, college hockey, it's you're going up against men now, and I think there's so many great players that are skilled, and college hockey, it's hard. I've seen that the last 2 years, so I think for me personally, it's just being able to protect the puck in the corners or on the wall, trying to break out, and um, just little things like that.
And I want to talk about before you went to Arizona State. You grew up in Edmonton. How did you start playing hockey?
Uh, I mean, Edmonton, it's hockey or nothing. It's very or it's Canada, so it's our game. And actually, I started skating when I was two, um, just at one of the big malls in Edmonton. The indoor rink there, they just have public skating, and I just remember my parents bringing me always or to the outdoor rinks, just trying to get going. And um, no, I started at a very young age. I think I first started at 3, um, and after that, I just fell in love with the game. It was funny because actually, no one from my family ever played hockey, and I was the first one to do it. And my dad was a big Edmonton Oilers fan, and brought me a bunch of games, and that kind of just translated.
And who was your hockey idol growing up? Was there anyone on the Oilers you liked the most?
Yeah, actually, I would say Mark Messier for me. Just a tremendous leader, and just his work ethic. Um, Plus, his nickname, the Moose, really stuck with me.
And before ASU, you played for the Chilliwack Chiefs, where you won an RBC championship in 2018. What was your experience like playing for them?
It was incredible. Actually, going through that year, I started off in Bonnyville, Alberta, and the team wasn't doing so great. And I was fortunate enough to get traded there halfway through the year. And um, I mean, just like anyone probably would say, when you're on the national championship team, you have to be a close team. And I I have so many great memories with those guys. It was a lot of fun. The atmosphere and the way Chilliwack treated us as players was professional, and it was amazing time.
And like you just mentioned, you also played for the Bonneville Pontiacs in the AJHL. Talk about what it was like to play for them.
Um, Honestly, that everything that I've accomplished now, and even being able to go to Chilliwack, it all started with them. And playing there, it was like my second home. Um, the head coach there, Rick Swan, he like developed me as a not just as a one way skilled forward. He really changed my mindset on the game and taking defense seriously. And if I didn't, I was never going to make it to college hockey because, as you know, every game's a 1 goal difference, and defense is it's key. So Bonneville was amazing, small town, um, but no, the fans were great. My billets were great, and besides the cold weather, it was awesome.
And playing in both the BCHL and AJHL, what did you notice between the two leagues and how did they help you prepare for college hockey?
Um, you know what? They're two different leagues with two different kind of sets. I would say Bonneville in the AJHL was more of a defense first, big bodied, um, strong, and BC was more of a skilled game, and getting the chance to play in both. It set me up to play now, especially here at Arizona State where we play all different conferences. I feel like I can adjust to any type of game now just by playing both styles, which has really helped me.
And what was your recruiting process like and what made you want to go to ASU?
Um, you know what? What stuck with me is the first time I talked to ASU wasn't through anyone else but Coach Craig Powers, and I think that was really big for me as talking to many schools. You always talk to the assistant coaches or um, their scouts, and I think just talking to Coach Powers and um, just the way we talked. I mean, the first time we talked, I think it was maybe a 5 minute call, and it was nothing about hockey, and it was just about life. And I think that really convinced me that I was going to the right place for the next 4 years.
And speaking of Greg Powers, what's it like to play under him?
Oh, it's amazing. Honestly, like it's a very well balanced approach where every day we come to the rink, it's fun. We're not mad that we have to be there, or you're not even when you're exhausted after a long weekend, you're always excited to come back, and he makes it just enjoyable to be around, and it's awesome.
Now, going into your freshman year, what was that like? And what do you think was the biggest adjustment going to college hockey? Was it the mental side of the game where you had to make quicker decisions, or was it the physicality since you're playing against a lot older players?
I think for me it was mentally. I think just the confidence it took a while. Um, Also, just like the mentality of being coming in, being a freshman, um, and dealing with on ice, off ice, adjusting to schooling after 3 years off. I think everything kind of at the start was a lot to take in, but I think after a while getting adjusted and having great teammates that helped us along the way, I think it was smooth sailing.
And ASU has one of the longest traveling schedules compared to the rest of the teams in the NCAA. So tell the listeners, what's it like to have that long of a travel schedule, and how do you adjust to that?
It's tough. I mean, there's a lot of times where you're traveling on a Tuesday or Wednesday. You might miss 2 to 3 days of classes, and um, I think it's a lot of effort to stay on track, to be focused all the time. We do a lot of long trips, but at the same time, the long trips are the probably the most fun trips that we have. You become closer as a team. We went to China last summer, and that was a great experience. I think for anyone that doesn't know, I think we had the longest traveling miles recorded, and I think just going through the airport, it's an awesome experience. I mean, you get to experience the world. I mean, I'm from Edmonton, and I've been all over the states now in 2 years, so it's been really cool.
And also in your first year at ASU, you made the national tournament. What was that experience like for you, especially since it was Arizona State's first tournament appearance?
It was surreal. I mean, watching the Frozen Four on TV and growing up, and it always felt like it was Ohio State and Michigan, and just watching them, and I think it was definitely a surreal moment for us to be the first ASU team to do it and making history like that. It was obviously very nerve wracking at the same time as we all wanted to achieve something special. But no, I mean it was awesome. I mean walking into that rink for the first time and seeing our logo on the boards alongside the NCAA tournament, it was special.
And do you think that long layoff that before that tournament helped affected you in that game?
Um, yeah, I think the first period, I think we lost the game in the first period, and um, I don't. I think it was more mental than physical. I think we were all in better shape, and we didn't have to do the playoff rounds. We weren't banged up, and so physically we were ready to go. But I think just mentally getting your mindset back in that every shift matters took us a while to get back, and um, yeah, it ended up costing us.
And like you mentioned earlier, you got to play in China last summer. Describe that experience and what was the coolest thing you got to do there?
Yeah, it was a culture shock, that's for sure. I mean, getting to go to the place where I probably would have never went without being here was special. First off, it was very cool to be able to visit and try new foods, and we went to Peking Duck restaurant the second night there, and it was amazing. And then I think the coolest spot that I got to see was the Great Wall of China. Just the amount of history and being there with 25 brothers that I call best friends now, and it was amazing.
And in your sophomore season, you got scored a lot of big goals. I have to ask, what was the biggest goal you thought you scored this past year?
Well, I think the biggest goal I scored this year was, I want to say, against probably Quinnipiac, and it would have been for second game against them in the weekend. Um, just scoring on them shorthanded and being able to put our team in the lead at that time in the second period was huge, especially since they beat us out of the tournament. They became one of our rivals now, and I think scoring that goal was probably the biggest one of the year.
And speaking of last year, how was it? Was it difficult to try to maintain staying in the top 15 in the NCAA since you're not in a conference? And how did you maintain that success?
Yeah, I think we made it a lot harder on ourselves last year. We started off a little slow, and it kind of, I think a lot of people were starting to questioning what we did the past year, and I think just we've always said that we're going to take each game by game, and I think that's all we keep on doing. And I think, I mean, obviously staying in the top 15 in college hockey is very tough, and being an independent, every game matters. And I think when we have that mindset that every game matters to us, I think that really helped us in the long run.
Now, one particular game I want to talk to you about from last year was when you guys played Holy Cross. You were down 2-1. And I feel like you really battled with them well, especially giving them a lot of icings in that overtime and then scoring the game winner. I just want to ask you, what was that game? And did that game give you confidence to show what you guys were capable of you can stay with any team in the country?
I think so. That was end of the season, and then it was a long. Always traveling east is always tough when you're playing a Boston school. Um, it's always going to be a tough game, and that game it was back and forth, um, and we just said we're gonna stick this out, and I think that game really gave us confidence that no matter what time the game's at or what the score is, if we play the way we can beat anybody. And I think that game was definitely a stepping stone in the going forward.
And I was at that game, and one person I noticed was Evan DeBrouwer, how great he played, and what's he like as a goalie, and how does he help your team?
He's been amazing. He was my roommate freshman year, and just getting to know him and how hard he works off the ice, mentally preparing for games. It, I mean, I'm so happy to see it translate to him now playing this year, last year, and no, he's an amazing kid, and he was our backbone last year. And that there's definitely a lot of games where early on that it could have been maybe 5-0 them, and he kept us in it and gave us a chance, and that's all we asked for. And um, yeah, he's been amazing.
Now, another teammate I want to ask you a question about is Johnny Walker. Obviously, he's one of the best goal scorers in the NCAA. What's he like playing with him, and what's he like as a person?
Playing with him, it's I mean, he's always got a joke to tell you on the ice, keeping it loose, and no, he is a determined individual who has taught me a lot of things on how to score goals at this level, and he's done it for the last 3 years ever since he came in as a freshman. And I mean, everyone deals with ups and downs, and you go through a time where you're not maybe gonna put up the numbers you want. And he's always been there to encourage me, to help me, and lead me in the right way. And off the ice, he's an unbelievable teammate. Um, he's always making everyone laugh. He's always got a joke. He's no, he's definitely a special teammate to be around.
And one final hockey question before we get into the non-hockey segment is, what is your favorite road arena to play in, or a road arena that you have played in since you've been to so many?
Um, I would have to say it's a toss-up between Wisconsin and Penn State. Um, Playing Penn State my freshman year and beating them in overtime, the atmosphere was electric the whole game. And Wisconsin last year, we got to play on their senior night, and they had it was their miracle night, and it was amazing, amazing, amazing atmosphere. So I it's between those two.
What student section you thought was the best?
Penn State by far. Yeah.
Now, going into the non-hockey segment of the podcast, I was reading the ASU website, and it says you enjoy cooking and baking. What is your favorite thing to cook or bake?
Uh, yeah. I have 4 roommates, and I love cooking dinners, having a big just meal. And I'm Italian, so I'm used to the big meals. And I think dinner time, it's a good time to sit down with each other and hang out. And for cooking, I really enjoy cooking steak and chicken, and always some type of vegetable and salad with it. For baking, I love baking banana bread. That's
Nice.
my mom taught me how at a young age, because I always asked her, and she got fed up with me, and she finally just taught me how to make it. And my roommates now, they always ask me, probably every 2 weeks for some. So I keep
And will there be a cookbook coming up soon?
Oh, I should after they keep telling me I should after hockey. I might have to.
And who's the funniest teammate you have on ASU?
Oh, you know what? There is a lot of funny teammates, but I would have to say Jordan Sandu.
And who has the best style on the team?
Oh, I would I would have to go with Jordan Sandu as well. Good Vancouver kid.
And it also says on the ASU website that you enjoy long walks on the beach. Which beach is the best to walk on?
uh, I haven't walked on a lot of beaches, but um, I have been to Portugal, and that was a great beach to walk on.
And what music do you listen to before a game?
Before a game, actually, me and my roommate, he controls the tunes, but we both love Motley Crue. So we jam out to a lot of that, or some AC/DC, some hard rock and roll.
And what is your favorite outdoor activity since you're from Alberta?
Um, I don't know if we could call outdoor rinks an outdoor activity, but just
I'll
because
count
there's
it.
so much snow around and we have rinks all year round outside, that's one thing I enjoy doing, and also enjoy camping with my family and friends.
And going back to some hockey questions now, what has been your favorite memory so far at ASU since you've made so many?
Uh, I think the best memory I have, um, I think was just, I think like the tournament was a great memory, but leading up to the tournament, I think the selection show was a memory that I'll never forget. I think hearing Arizona State being called and playing in the group for the tournament for the first time was something that only us 26 guys can say we're there and we're a part of, and I think that memory will always stick with me.
Now, what are your goals for the team this upcoming season?
Um, the goals for this season is like everyone else's is to win that national title. We continue to get better every year, and um, I think that with the freshmen that we have coming in, with we have like 12 senior players on our roster coming back. We're a
Yeah,
very
one of the
deep
best
team.
recruiting classes I heard this season.
Yeah, so we're a very deep team, and I think uh, I think we're striving for that national title.
Now, since you're going to be an upperclassman and you have a great recruiting freshman class coming, what type of leadership are you going to try to bring this year?
I think just making sure that everyone is just doing all right off the ice. I think that's the biggest thing that you can lead. I think everyone that makes it to this level, I think everyone's a great player once you get here, and I think it's more of the mental side of the game, maybe getting ready for classes. I mean, I think that's the toughest part, and I think leading in that way in the school and helping them out for classes, setting them up, helping them with their classes. I think that's the kind of stuff that I can help them and lead them in that way. And hockey wise, I think obviously it's just the confidence and making sure that they know that you're a great player and you just got to keep working hard.
Well, thank you so much, PJ, for coming on the podcast today. I wish you and your team the best of luck for next year. And hopefully I get to see you guys again play if you guys come to the East Coast this year.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Have a nice day.
You too.